Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you're not watching for the first time and you don't subscribe, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network. And feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. In addition, we have merchandise. We have merchandise. You will see the Shooting Up North link up in our banner in our YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. Just click on that link. It says Shooting Up North. Click on that link. It'll take you to our What a Maneuver merchandise page. We have t-shirts. We have long sleeve shirts. We have hoodies. We have toddler shirts. We have women's t-shirts, women's v-neck. So just go ahead and check it out. And if you want to buy a t-shirt, hey, buy a t-shirt. All right, so let's get into it. Matt Cardona, as we know, recently lost the Digital Media Championship, the Impact Wrestling Digital Media Championship, to Rich Swann actually last weekend, I should say, at Pro Wrestling Revolver, a Pro Wrestling Revolver show. So Rich Swann, the new Digital Media Champion, and the Digital Media title, I think, has been a failure, in my opinion. Has been a failure. I don't think it's caught on. I don't think people are really caring about the digital media title. I mean, you look at Impact Wrestling social media when the title change took place. The Impact Wrestling social media, their Twitter page, they retweeted a fan indicating that Rich Swann is the new digital media champion, but they didn't post anything. They didn't post anything on their own about it until about a day later. A day later, they decided to finally they posted something about it. So as the title change took place, Impact Wrestling social media didn't feel it was the title change was an important enough event that they needed to post about or tweet out about. So they skipped it. They waited 24 hours. They waited a day, and then they posted it. So bottom line is that the Digital Media Championship not working out, not working out. I personally think maybe it's time to retire the digital media title. I know, it could go the way of you see Moose back here wearing the Grand Championship. They tried that out for a while, didn't work. They brought in the digital media title, for a bit. Jordan Grace was a champion. Then when Matt Cardona won it, I thought it was going to take off a little bit. I thought he was going to elevate the digital media title. I thought it was going to be a fun run with Matt Cardona, but it wasn't really. It didn't live up to expectations, so to speak. It had potential when Matt Cardona won the title. Like I said, I thought it was going to be elevated, great potential. But no, I think the digital media title is a failure, and it's time to retire it. But I think they should bring another title in though. I don't think they should just get rid of it altogether. I think what they should do is retire the digital media championship and then bring in the Impact Wrestling North American Championship. I think that has when it comes to professional wrestling. I know they wanted to be a little different. They wanted to try something new. The digital media title, I figured it would be defended basically on social media. Basically, you would see it on YouTube. It would be defended. Maybe they would have like a Facebook match or something. Thought it was going to be before the impact. Maybe they would have a title match, but they didn't really do that. They didn't really do that. So, but I think if they brought in something like a North American title, you could say U.S. title, but there's U.S. titles been used a lot. North American titles haven't been really. I think there's been like one or two North American titles. I think the NWA used to have a North American title, but regardless, I think if they brought in a North American title, the Impact Wrestling North American title, I think that would make a lot more sense. In the world of professional wrestling, as opposed to a digital media champion. And when you think of the North American title, it can elevate. There's quite a few wrestlers that it could elevate. Winning a title kind of elevates the wrestler, like before they become world champion, like in the WWE you had the intercontinental title. You win the intercontinental title, that could be a stepping stone to the world title. There is the X Division championship, in Impact Wrestling, but that's such a prestigious title. That's such a prestigious title. Yes, the World Championship is a little more prestigious, but there are people out there that want to be the X Division champion, and they're happy if they're just the X Division champion. So the X Division title is something that wrestlers definitely strive for, as opposed to using it as a stepping stone, if that makes sense. They could be using it as a stepping stone. There's option C, Josh Alexander, Austin Aries invoking option C to get title shots. But you understand what I'm saying about the X Division Championship? But if they brought in like the North American title, that would be another title that could be a title that could be used as a stepping stone towards a possible world championship run. And there's a lot of guys out there that I think would make great Impact Wrestling North American champions. If it's, of course, this is speculation. I have no inside information about a new title coming. This is just me. But imagine like Ace Austin or Chris Bay. Chris Bay as a Impact Wrestling North American champion. Brian Myers, Steve Macklin out there as well. I think would an Impact Wrestling North American title would look good around their waist, as opposed to like a digital media title, because Steve Macklin is an Impact Wrestling digital media champion. Kind of just wouldn't sound right, but Steve Macklin, Impact Wrestling North American champion, would make a hell of a lot of sense, and it would look really, really good. And then you can have like a Chris Bay or Ace Austin or Speedball Mike Bailey chasing Steve Macklin, or even a W Morrissey chasing Steve Macklin and the North American Championship. And in addition to that, you could also have like whoever's the North American champion could who go around all across North America, whether it's in Mexico, whether it's in Canada, whether it's in the United States, and defend the title against in independent promotions against top wrestlers in indie promotions. Like, for example, say Chris Bay is the Impact Wrestling North American champion. He could go to West Coast Pro and defend the title against Titus Alexander, or he could go to Limitless Wrestling and defend the title against Alec Price, or he could go to Beyond Wrestling and defend the title against Marcus Mathers, something of that nature, or just travel around and defend the title. And of course, the title will be defended regularly on Impact Wrestling pay-per-views. But I think that would be a decent idea. I think it would add some buzz. It would add intrigue to Impact Wrestling. You look at an indie show and Chris Bay, the Impact Wrestling North American champion, defending the belt today against the top guy here at for this indie promotion. I think would make terrific sense. Yeah, you do have some title defenses Impact Wrestling on the indie scene, but I would like Chris Bay could tour North America with the Impact Wrestling North American title, and he could, especially if the Forbidden Door is open, like he could go to MLW, he could go to defend it in GCW. There's no Forbidden Door there because GCW is an independent promotion. Anyone could go there. But even if they could work something out with with the NWA, Chris Bay, or he could even if you want to have somebody from Japan come over, New Japan Pro Wrestling, defend the title. And of course, you can have like a top 5 list of challengers for the Impact Wrestling North American title. I think the Impact Wrestling North American Championship would make a lot more sense than the digital media title. I think the digital media title should be retired. It should just be retired, because all due respect, Rich Swann, sorry, I had a tangerine. I think I got a little piece of a pulp in between my teeth right now, but nobody needs to know that. But Rich Swann winning the digital media title, there's no excitement there. I'm sorry, there's no excitement there at all. I'm trying to get that pulp. There's no excitement there at all, at all. But if Rich Swann was like the Impact Wrestling North American champion, I think there'd be a little more excitement, in my opinion. And why would it, like, a big title change? Well, I don't call it big anymore. But why would a title change take place on an independent show like Pro Wrestling Revolver. Rich Swann wins that Pro Wrestling Revolver. Why would the title change happen there and not an Impact Wrestling show? It's just, again, this doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense, man. But anyway, but I think, well, I guess, they want to, when I say it doesn't make sense, I mean, the Digital Media Championship, really, it doesn't make sense anymore, is what I'm trying to say. And I think they should, I think the digital media title should, be tossed to the back and retired, and they should bring in the Impact Wrestling North American Championship. I think that would be, I think that would be a better idea, since it is professional wrestling. It would make more sense than having a digital media championship. Because again, Impact Wrestling trying to be different, trying to do something a little different by bringing in a different title, but it's clearly not working. And I think it's time to make a change. You want to bring in another title, the North American Championship. That would be my that would be my, that would be my idea. The Impact Wrestling North American title. And I would, if it was me booking it, I'd put the belt on Chris Bay to start. I would put the belt on Chris Bay to start. I would have Madman Fulton come back, and with another, to be the first challenger for Chris Bay, and again with another champion, then you could bring in a few more wrestlers to challenge Chris Bay for the North American title. You would have to bring in you would. I think I said you could, but I think you would have to bring in some more talent. And kind of put them into the unofficial North American, on the North American title roster, if you know what I mean, and to be challengers for say, for my North American champion Chris Bay. So hopefully they'll do some. I don't know how much longer we're going to see the Digital Media Championship. I personally think it's gonna be short lived, and I do think that they're eventually just gonna just put it on the back burner. But they should bring in another title, and again, the Impact Wrestling North American Championship would be the way that I would go. And speaking of defending titles, like I mentioned, a North American champion could defend in Mexico, could defend in Canada, could defend in the U.S. Josh Alexander is the world champion. Now, MLW, Alexander Hammerstone, he's going to be defending the MLW heavyweight title, the world title, in different countries. I think he's going to the UK to defend the title. I think they're working on him going to Mexico to defend the title. And I think they have an agreement with All Japan Pro Wrestling. And I read somewhere, it's not official, that he may be going to Japan to defend the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, which I think is a great idea, which is something that I think Josh Alexander, Impact Wrestling should have Josh Alexander do. Josh Alexander is right now top three wrestlers in the top three wrestlers in the world. He's one of the top three wrestlers in the world. You can argue Josh Alexander belongs there. Just absolutely tremendous talent. We all know that. And I think Josh Alexander should be taking that Impact Wrestling World title and defending it in Canada, defending it in Mexico, defending it in the UK, defending it in Japan, defending it in Ireland, defending it all over the world. Bring that title all over the world. Let's go to India. I know Impact Wrestling, they're popular in India. Have them go to India, defend against the Great Khali. You know what I mean? I think the Great Khali has his own promotion in India, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that would be my idea as well. I mean, if MLW is doing it, Impact Wrestling should be doing it too, because all due respect to Alexander Hammerstone, he's no Josh Alexander. He's no Josh Alexander. And Josh Alexander, again, Alex Hammerstone, fantastic talent, but Josh Alexander is, in my opinion, the better talent. And I would love to see Josh Alexander defend the Impact Wrestling World title all over the world. I mean, let's get it booked. I mean, especially if going over to New Japan Pro Wrestling. If Josh Alexander is not in the G1, and he wouldn't be defending the title at the G1, but if he's not in the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 tournament, I'm going to be a little disappointed. But speaking on that, Josh Alexander should definitely be defending the title all over the world. All right, so Impact Wrestling needs a new strategy. When I say needs a new strategy, AEW is just going to be signing up everybody now. We saw at Double or Nothing, we saw Roosh make his debut. We saw Athena, formerly Ember Moon, making her debut. Stokely Hathaway also making his debut. So they're bringing in a lot of talent, and they're not stopping. They're not stopping. They're bringing in a stream of talent, AEW, and with Ring of Honor about to make its return, its full-time return. I know Tony Khan says he wants a weekly show for Ring of Honor, and he expects a full-time Ring of Honor return. He's going to be looking for a lot more talent to fill the Ring of Honor roster. So Impact Wrestling needs a new strategy. In my opinion, yes, they just signed Mia Yim, which is fantastic. But they need to think of a new strategy, and here's my strategy for every Mia Yim that they sign, they should sign 3 or 4 Alec Prices. Now, if you're not familiar with Alec Price is one of the best, if not the best wrestler on the indie scene right now. But you have a lot of great talent on the indie scene, and let's there are some big names out there. I'm going to go over some big names in a second. But for every Mia Yim, they should sign 3 or 4 Alec Prices, and some of the talent that's out there. I'm going to read some names: Alec Price, Titus Alexander, Kylan King, Dustin Penner, Marcus Mathers, Kevin Blackwood, fantastic talents. They should do whatever they need to do to get Kevin Blackwood. You got Jody Threat, Alexia Nicole, Trish Adora, Willow Nightingale, all out there, all fantastic talents. Yes, they're not big names, but they're terrific young talents that will come to Impact Wrestling, and they would give 110%. And since they're young talents, right now you could sign them to 2-3 year deals, and as opposed to like a 6-month deal, and you could build them up to become the next stars. And I know I've talked about this in the past, but it's something that Impact Wrestling should start implementing, in my opinion. But you could build them up to become the next stars, like Kylan King and Dustin Penner, fantastic tag team on the indie scene, and the Miracle Generation. And they should bring these guys in, man. They are so freaking talented. They could come in. They would have a banger of a match against the Briscoes. They would have a terrific match against Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. They would have a terrific match against the Good Brothers. They were just fantastic young talents, and they would give 110, 120% because they still need to prove themselves. And that's kind of the guys that Impact Wrestling should be looking to bring in right now. Guys that are looking to prove themselves, as opposed to bringing in big names. Yes, I'm not saying don't bring in any more big names. But again, for every Mia Yim, as I said, they should bring 3 or 4 Alec Prices and build them up to be the next stars of Impact Wrestling. There's one guy out there right now who signed to MLW. I don't know how long or what kind of contract he has with MLW, but his name is Gnarls Garvin. I don't know if you're familiar with Gnarls Garvin. I'm an old school fan of professional wrestling, started watching in 1978. Gnarls Garvin is a throwback to the old school wrestler. Gnarls Garvin to me, he is a mix of Terry Gordy and Stan Hansen. Absolutely fantastic talent. I don't know how long he has left on his MLW contract, but if Impact Wrestling could kind of check out, see how long he has on his contract with MLW. Because I don't think MLW is really using him to his fullest potential. I know they signed him. I don't know how long the contract, but Impact Wrestling should be looking at Gnarls Garvin, because Gnarls Garvin could come in, like I said, a mixture between Terry Gordy and Stan Hansen, and a brawler. He's just he's a professional wrestler. He's a professional wrestler's professional wrestler. He's just a fantastic talent. I want to pull up a list here. But he's a fantastic talent, and they should definitely be looking at Gnarls Garvin. Now I talked about for every Mia Yim, they should bring in, 3 or 4 Alec Prices. But they should also, like I said, I did indicate, I'm not saying do not sign any big names. They need to make a splash, Impact Wrestling, because they need to make a splash right now. They need to bring in a big signing, because AEW, again, just signing Roosh, just signing Athena, Stokely Hathaway debuting at Double or Nothing. So out there right now for Impact Wrestling to go after. There's Lindsay Dorado, which I think is a great talent. There's also we have Alex Zane. Alex Zane is still a free agent. Alex Zane had some nice positive words for Impact Wrestling recently. So Alex Zane, also out there, Bandito not signed yet with AEW or Ring of Honor. Impact Wrestling, if they could sneak in there and get Bandito, I think that would be terrific. There's also Big Damo. He just recently appeared on AEW, working for New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. That's another top guy, but the one guy they should be looking at right now, one guy they should be opening the vaults for, opening up the vaults for to bring in if they want to make a big splash. His name is Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli. I hope I pronounced that right. I always have trouble pronouncing his last name, but I'll call him Cesaro. If they could somehow sign Cesaro, right now he's the biggest free agent on the market right now. In my opinion, Bray Wyatt's out there, but I don't know what's going on with Bray Wyatt. But if they could sign Cesaro, Impact Wrestling opens that vault and signs Cesaro, that would be a major, major splash for Impact Wrestling. Be a major, major splash. Just think of that. I'm just almost salivating when I think of Josh Alexander defending the Impact Wrestling World title against Cesaro. That would, oh my God, how awesome of a match that would be. And Cesaro could use his influence to bring some other guys in. I don't know who he's friends with, but there are other free agents out there. Maybe he could convince Bray Wyatt to come in for a little bit, but who knows? But that would be a fantastic signing. Impact Wrestling would make a huge splash if they could sign Cesaro. If somehow they go for it, they just go for it all, and they sign Cesaro, and again, how awesome would it be at Slammiversary after Josh Alexander defeats Eric Young and Cesaro's music hits, his new music hits, and he walks down the aisle and confronts Josh Alexander. How amazing would that be? So that's AEW Impact needs to show that AEW is not the only company that's looking to make a big splash, that they're not the only company that is going to bring in top free agents. Impact Wrestling needs to bring in a top 1 or 2 or 3 top free agents. Yes, we got Mia Yim. Got to bring in top free agents as well, but not to lose focus on bringing in young stars like Alec Price, like Marcus Mathers, like Titus Alexander, like Kylon King. I mentioned their names before, because these guys will come in and they still need to prove themselves. They could get a Kevin Blackwood. My God. These guys still are looking to prove themselves, and they will give you 110, 130, 140%. They will go all out each and every time. I'm not saying Cesaro is not going to go all out, but Cesaro's already proven himself, as opposed to like Alec Price, who would come in and still kind of needs to prove himself. So you would get that extra ignition, so to speak, that extra ignition he put into 5th gear. That makes sense. If you understand what I'm talking about. So I that's why, man, like Jody Threat, my goodness, she's so talented. And Willow Nightingale, Trisha Dora still out there. They should bring these people in, and I think it was a mistake releasing Jake Something. If they could bring Jake Something back, and also Rohit Raju, that would be wonderful as well. But that's the strategy they should be they should be implementing right now. Again, retire the Digital Media Championship, bring in a North American title. Let that whoever the champion is defend it all over North America. Let Josh Alexander defend the world title all over the world. Bring in some new stars. Let's see they build them up as the next stars of Impact Wrestling. Again, there's so many guys out there that they could bring in. And so speaking of guys out there, gut check. What's the point of having gut check if you're just not going to use the guys? I mean, does anybody remember the names of the last two gut check winners? Does anybody remember the names? No. Okay. I didn't think so, man. Like, what's going on? Jason Hotch and Jack Price. There's also Jason Hotch and Jack Price. Yeah. And why they have these gut checks? They have these gut checks, but they're just not. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to go into that right now. Like, what's the point of the gut checks? I mean, the winners of the gut checks, they should at least, show us like a video. Like, they should have had like a little video package of these are the new gut check winners. Future Impact Wrestling stars. But they win the gut check, and it's like, all right, let's just forget about them. Let's just forget about them. And yeah. I don't want to get into Jackson Stone, right? I don't want to get into Jackson. I don't know why they're not using Jackson Stone, but like, what's the point of having these gut checks if we're just not going to use the guys? Yeah, you could say Jason Hotch and Jack Price. They just recently won, but are they training? Are they in developmental? I mean, what's happening? Is there going to be another gut check they're going to have like in 6 months? With two more guys win, and then we just forget about them. So yeah, I just wanted to vent on that a little bit. But anyway, that's it. That's it for me today. I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm watching the news. Anything else breaks, or if anything breaks, of course, I'll be back. It is Memorial Day, so not too many things going on right now. I got the whole MJF AEW situation happening. I'll keep my eyes on that. And again, if you want to order some merchandise, right in our banner, right in the YouTube channel banner, you'll see the little link that'll say Shooting Up North. Just click on that. It'll take you to our merchandise page where you could order as many shirts as you like. Hey, if anyone ever orders a shirt, I would be so appreciative. But that's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. Anyway, so we're going to leave it at that for now. I'll be back either later today or tomorrow. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.